Network here at PDAC in Toronto. I'm here today with Dr. Kal Kotecha, editor and founder of the Junior Gold Report. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, how's the conference going?
It's very busy, very brisk and busy, so it's good to see investor sentiment is pretty strong, so it's great to see that again this year.
Great. And so tell us about your experience with the Junior Gold Report. How did that get started?
Well, I started in the newsletter business in 2002 with the Kal Resource Report, then I subsequently changed to the Junior Gold Report in 2010. So I have quite a few, fortunately, really good subscribers that read the content. So it varies on gold to the economy to base resources and things like that. So, and I also have a feature column on the homepage of stockhouse.com.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So
I wanted to ask you as well. So, what since you cover gold stocks, what can we expect the price to do this year for gold?
See, in my opinion, has not been parachuted, down from heaven. So it's just my opinion, right? So I really think by the end of the year, towards beginning of next year, is when you can see a higher price for gold, and that has to be a lot to do with the economy and what's happening both sides of the border as well, which I can get into, with some other questions. But I believe that we will see higher highs and possibly even break the high of 1950 or so it was a few years ago. You'll probably see that in the next year or two.
And you touched on your presentation and some of the issues that were coming up in the next couple of years with the stock market. So maybe you just want to talk about that and how that can affect gold going forward. I
really think the next 2 or 3 years, and a lot of other pundits reflect the same narrative I do, is that we are going to see a pretty big crash in the stock market. And it was mortgage-based and derivative-based 10 years ago, and this is going to be more debt-based, okay? So I really believe that individuals who prepare themselves now are going to be quite happy down the road. Now, you're not always going to hit the highs and sell at, buy at the highs and sell at the lows, right? But if you can properly try to forecast, and then you can start preparing yourself. But I really believe the stock market is totally, really inflated. It's only a certain amount of boundary, it can go even higher. But then I believe gold has been submerged, and especially silver as well, which we can get into. And I believe that's where the true and tried and trust money is going to be. Now, that does not necessarily equate that precious metal stocks will follow. Okay, because in 2008, when the market crashed, so did precious metal stocks. But gold and silver bullion actually stayed the same and appreciated a little bit. So it's baby with the bathwater. Everything's just going to go down the toilet, right? And including equity stocks, and I believe including junior mining stocks down the road. Doesn't mean it's going to happen now. This is just in the next 2 to 3 years, I believe. So there's still a lot of money to be made in this market.
Right, and then so how does that affect silver going forward? Will we see silver kind of follow gold when there's market trouble?
There's 3 different options. Right now, we have an 80-to-1 ratio of silver to gold. Okay, so historically that means that either gold is overvalued, silver is undervalued, grossly undervalued, or both of them are undervalued, and I believe both of them are undervalued. But silver taking on a lot of base metal characteristics as well, and being a cheap man's gold, I believe it's going to propel itself quite a bit higher. So when gold starts moving, on a percentage basis, silver will accelerate that. And it's just only so long you can submerge something. If you go back in time and you think, I should have bought cryptos in 2009 or 2010, I should have bought equities in early 2009, I believe this is where we are in silver at this point.
And then what about the gold versus cryptocurrency debate? We've been hearing a lot about that. People have a lot of different opinions. What's yours?
And my talk at the conference was on gold versus cryptos. And basically, my thesis on that is that a lot of the easy money has been made in Bitcoin and Ethereum, and that's just, it's not a new, novel forecast for that. But if you look at the little correction we had in the stock market about a month ago, Bitcoin follows. Bitcoin fell from about 11,000 to in the 7,000s before recovering again, just like the market is recovering. So Bitcoin has not, and the cryptocurrencies have not gone through a recession. Okay, so Bitcoin was invented in 09, and the last crash we had was in 08. So I believe that Bitcoin is, in essence, tied in with the stock market in many respects. So I believe if the stock market is going to crash in a couple of years, so will cryptocurrencies, but not gold. Okay, so there's an inverse. I'm beginning to see there's an inverse relationship between cryptos and the price and the equity market.
And what other stocks do you think what other commodities do you think will do well this year? We're hearing a lot about cobalt, lithium, some of the battery metals, right?
Correct. I believe cobalt will continue. Lithium will continue as well this year. And I believe silver. Silver is one of my favorites.
And what's your basis for the outlook for silver? Is that just based on industrial demand, or?
I think it's more based that it's gold's used as a store of value, and also silver has been submerged for so long. And when gold does appreciate, silver appreciates quite a bit more historically, and when gold depreciates, silver depreciates on a percentage basis as well, quite a bit more. So looking at those factors, and historically, silver's about to pop, in my opinion.
And so you do a lot of research. What are some of your favorite companies right now?
I work with MGX Minerals, so as a disclaimer, I do own stocks, stock options, shares, warrants, private placement I participated in, but I really like MGX Minerals. And for a number of reasons. First of all, I really like the president, Jared Laserson. He's very sharp, intuitive, and has a sense of integrity that I think a lot of individuals in the junior markets lack. And he's an anomaly in the junior market space. There are a handful of good individuals, and I believe he's one of them, and for the couple of years I've spent with him. Secondly, they're in the lithium space. So they have a process right now that we are actually have the pilot project ready. And the premise of the technology is that can extract lithium from wastewater in a fraction of the time a solar evaporation does. And then also cleaning up the wastewater into cleaner farmland water. So it's a really good process.
So is that like a new technology?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so they're in the process of expanding it and deploying the projects that we have coming on and the plants that we have coming on and bringing on more and advancing technology even further. So it's a very disruptive technology, and a lot of information can be found on their website at mgxminerals.com.
Okay, that's great. There's a lot of excitement about lithium, so I'm sure people will definitely check that out.
Correct.
So is there anything else you'd like to add? I'm pretty much out of questions.
There's another company I'm looking at. I'm just finding out more about it, Noble Explorations. And I'm just found out about it very recently, so I'm looking at that. I believe the symbol is NOB. And
what's interesting about them?
Which I am discovering right now more about that. I'm just hearing individuals talking about that, and then they're in the Timmins area, and just the players behind it are pretty strong. So I researched that. So I always look at management number one, and I think Rick Rule echoes the same sentiment as well. Is management is key, and that bodes well for MGX Minerals and Noble Explorations. As for your question of what else I'd like to add, I believe we're going to be in a big roller coaster ride, not only in the mining space, but also in the technological space. Advances have been made so quickly on technology. The next phase will be artificial intelligence, I believe. A lot of individuals have made a lot of money into the cryptocurrencies. A lot of money still can be made, but artificial intelligence, which is also exciting, is on the forefront. And I had the opportunity to teach at the University of Waterloo for a number of years, which is the lead in artificial intelligence. So I also see firsthand what's happening there in the category of artificial intelligence. I would watch the price of gold and silver, and watch for a possible economic crash in the next couple of years, just because of the finance related and all the debts, and who's going to buy the bonds in the States at this point to keep fueling the debt crisis. And we have similar prices here in Canada as well of an increasing deficit.
Okay.
Which is an anomaly in good times when the government is increasing deficits, where at this point they should be not having a deficit.
Okay.
And saving it if needed for an economic downturn. So this is all going to precipitate into, I believe, an economic crisis in the next couple of years.
Okay. Well,
but timing is really hard to predict, right?
For sure, exact timing, right?
Yeah,
so
exact timing.
We'll definitely keep an eye out for that.
Right,
so
yeah.
there'll probably be some signs ahead of time, right?
And the hedge of protection is it's gold and silver.
Okay, great. So I'm Melissa Shaw with the Investing News Network. We're here at PDAC in Toronto, and I'm with Dr. Kal Kotecha, editor and founder of the Junior Gold Report.